About 30 years ago, I had discovered a very large, a very heavy vise, and at the time had no purpose for it. You know, I had a small bench vise in the shop, so I says, "All right, let me put this aside. Maybe someday I'll use it." So today is that day. Approximately 30 years later, I know I stored it in the shed, and I dug it out today, and let's go take a look. There it is. Okay, so it's been sitting there, moved around a bit from spot to spot, but sitting there, unused, unloved. Well, loved, but definitely unused for now about 30 years. Okay, so we're going to bring that into the shop, see what we got. I'm not even sure what the manufacturer is at this point. I never really looked. So we'll see. Hopefully we got something nice. Okay, either way, it's going to get a full restore. It's going to get the attention now, finally, that it deserves. There it is. We stuck it in a crate so we can carry it easier. I'll tell you, it's very, very heavy. And I'm kind of used to lifting heavy objects. Especially iron objects, but this is very heavy. From here to the house is about 100 yards, so I put it in this crate to make it a little bit easier. Alright, let's bring it into the shop. Okay, so we brought the vise in, we got it up on the scale. You see what I'm talking about. 56 pounds, 14 ounces, so basically 57 pounds. This is nice. I'm very happy. What we got here, this is the first time I'm seeing, I've had this thing stored for 30 years at least, and it's the first time I'm seeing a manufacturer. C. Parker, Meriden, Connecticut. Patent June 20th, 1854. Wow. Number 3. This is an old vise. I mean, we're talking about pre-Civil War. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I've had this pre-Civil War vise laying out in the shed for the last 30 years. You know what? The timing probably couldn't be better though, because I got a full appreciation for vintage tools at this stage of my life. So I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled to have hung on to this piece and have the opportunity now to do a full restore. All right, so we've got our Charles Parker number 3 vise, patent June 20th, 1854. Not 1954, 1854. Okay, Charles Parker Company out of Meriden, Connecticut. Okay, so this is an incredible find, in my opinion. I'm absolutely thrilled to have it here in the shop. Okay, and yeah, it's complete, other than the handle. The handle is missing, unfortunately. It always was. The vise itself is locked solid. Can't move it. So we're going to do a complete tear down of this. But before we do so, I'm just going to flip it over, take a look at all the sides. Alright, it weighs 55 pounds plus. You can see the auger here. We've got a spring. Okay, this appears to be the original bolt, possibly. Looks like it's brass. It's definitely brass. May or may not be original. I'm not sure. Turn it this way. Okay, the reverse side has no markings. The bottom had no markings that I could see. It appears to be several layers of paint. Let's just look at the back. Nothing there. Let's just flip it up one more time. Yeah, nothing on the top. I think the nose plate is missing as well. Okay, from what I know, this should have a nose plate. Okay, it's like a C that would hold this in, and then here's a hole for the bolt. Okay, so that appears to be missing as well. Alright, so we're missing the handle, and we're missing the C clip in the front, the nose clip. That's not terrible. I think the nose clip, I'm not sure. I know on some of my other vices they do have date stamps or model numbers, but I don't know if this one did or not. But anyway, we'll either try to find one on eBay or elsewhere, or we will make one if we can't find one. Let this soak. Probably end up going with a new bolt. You can see that these threads are stripped, so we're not gonna remove that. Look at that spring. It's amazing to think that this spring is 170 years old. Put that in there, that's going to be degreased. Alright, we're going to set this part aside for now. Continue to work over here. Okay, we want to get out. We want to get the receiver out. Okay, typically on a lot of vices, there's a set screw, or not a set screw, but a pin on the bottom, but not on this one. This one appears to just be held in by friction. Okay, but before we decide that for sure, we are going to scrape the area to check to see if there is a set screw here on the top. Like I was saying, this is held in just by friction. This is like a wedge. Okay, you could tell. This area, you could see, it's maybe hard to see on the camera, but this gets narrower as it goes in. So this piece is just tapped in or wedged in. Alright, so we're just going to hit it with some, okay, we let that sit for a couple of minutes. You can see it's soaked in. We'll put a little bit more in there. Okay, there you go. Wow, look at this. Wow. You know, that's been there for a long, long time. Amazing. Look at that dirt. Civil War era dirt. That's amazing. Look at that. It's beautiful. It'll probably just pop right out now. Now I'm not so lucky. Beautiful. Oh, we got a crack. crack in the receiver. It's not too bad though, because it's only one thread. Okay, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 threads in there, so we just got to crack on half or about a quarter of one of the threads. It's not bad. Wow, what a job. All right, there it is, our C. Parker, Charles Parker, 1854 patent date, 55 plus pound bench vise. It's huge. We got it completely broken down. We are missing the handle, which we'll replace we'll try to find some vintage bar. If not, we'll get a nice piece of steel and put some ends on it. Yeah, the could be the original bolt. I'm not sure if they would have used brass or not. Maybe. But that's stripped out pretty good, and maybe that's why they used brass, so you wouldn't strip the actual base of the vise. So we'll replace the bolt. That's, like I said, stripped out, and everything else looks pretty good. We got a small crack in the receiver, very small. It's not going to affect the performance. So we've got very few parts here. What do we got? One. Wait a second here. Let me just check these jaws. Are these jaws removable? Hang on a second here. Okay, so I'm looking very closely at these jaws, and flipped them over and noticed that there is a set of pins. Look at that. Very, unless you flip this over, you're never going to realize it, because on the top, the pins are just shaved smooth, from the use. So these are apparently replaceable jaws, which is really cool, because they are worn down fairly well, although we're going to keep them, because they are more than likely original. If not original, they're definitely period. So we're going to drive these pins out and then see what we got. Okay, so I got a, let's see what size this is, 5/32 steel punch. Fits right into the pinhole perfectly. I'm using a vice grip to hold on to it, because I'm going to use a 3-pound sledgehammer, come along if you will, drive these pins out. Alright, so we just came from the Reed 104.5 vise, pounding out the 2 pins that hold in the jaw, and we can show you that. There you go, there's the top. So with a little bit of elbow grease, actually a lot of elbow grease, removed all 4 pins. And so these are sort of like a, I wouldn't call it a dovetail, but yeah, actually I would call it a dovetail the way these are manufactured. Okay, these are definitely, they're very heavy, they're definitely iron, and I mean, they weigh, just by themselves they weigh quite a bit. So these appear to me to be original. You know, there's a chunk missing from this side, a little bit from this side. They're definitely worn. They're worn down. You can see. You can see how they're worn down. Look at this. This is probably close to the original height, and then completely worn down. Probably somebody from, you know, putting whatever they had in here, they're filing and filing that item, and then, you know, it gets worn down over that time. And this side too, obviously, which is basically a mirror of the other side. Okay, so both sides together. This side, you can see, actually needed to grind off, file off a little bit of the top material. I was having a difficult time banging them out. I was only able to move them a little bit. They like mushroomed, so very difficult. All right, so once I got the heads to pop, they were mushroomed as well, the heads, so I just filed them down a little bit, and then I drove them out from the top, and they came, not right out, but they came out. All right. Okay, so at this point what we did was we put all of the components in this 15-gallon container. This is our big degreaser basin. Okay, and we are then going to follow that up by adding our favorite degreaser. Okay. We are going to fill up the remainder of that with cold tap water as per the manufacturer's specifications. And we're going to let that sit for 24 hours. And the only reason we're doing that is because we have other things we need to get to. So I figure I might as well let it sit in there for 24 hours. It'll really, really break down the grease in there. And, you know, the stuff will just literally hose off, you know, so. And, yeah, so we added degreaser at 33%. We'll probably end up knocking it down to about 10% because of the fact that we're going to fill this up to about here, about halfway. So it's going to be about 7.5 gallons. And, yeah, so that'll cut right through it. It'll be beautiful. All right, so again, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate your patronage. We really appreciate your time. Hopefully some of these videos have been helpful to you in regards to your own project. That's one of the main reasons why we do it. Of course, we have a love for antique and vintage items. So you know that's our primary goal is to bring back these beautiful, irreplaceable, unique items, one at a time, and share them with you. So again, thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.